Imagine being born in Japan sometime between the 800s and the 1800s, most likely around the 1600s or 1700s, during the peak era of the ninja. Your childhood was anything but typical. You didn't get to play with other children. In fact, you grew up completely alone. From the moment you came into this world, your life had a single purpose: to become the most efficient, silent assassin and spy possible. Training started almost from birth, and it wasn't just the kind you might imagine. Part of your early lessons included crawling through thorny bushes to toughen your skin and learn how to move silently, without a trace. One of the most crucial skills you had to master was the art of absolute silence, because even the slightest misstep, like a pinky toe snapping a twig, could mean instant death. You practiced walking, running, and climbing in a way that wouldn't alert a single soul. You also learned how to disappear in plain sight, to vanish into crowds, shadows, or even empty spaces. Being a ninja was essentially being the ultimate hide-and-seek master. So good, in fact, that for all you know, there could be one hiding in your closet right now, but maybe wait until after this story to check. Your training didn't stop at silence. You had to scale walls and mountains, use ropes, hooks, and ladders to infiltrate castles or enemy strongholds. You were also taught to live multiple lives, slipping into disguises like a wandering monk, a simple merchant, a farmer, a military officer, or even a samurai. Each role came with its own set of behaviors, speech patterns, and mannerisms you had to master perfectly. Failing to learn these skills often meant being abandoned by your own family. Weapons? Oh, you learned plenty. From the katana and shorter blades for close combat, to throwing stars, those iconic little weapons that could be hurled from a distance with deadly precision. Blowguns and poison darts were also in your arsenal, perfect for silent, distant kills. And if things got chaotic, you had smoke bombs and flash grenades at your disposal, tools to blind and confuse, giving you the chance to vanish like a ghost. You were basically playing Call of Duty, centuries before video games even existed. Though ninjas and samurai lived during the same period, they were worlds apart in status. While samurai stood proud in the upper class as honorable warriors, ninjas were often seen as lowly, the shadowy tools of war, born into poor families and hired for dirty work like spying and assassination. By the time you reached 10 or so, you'd already mastered the basics of stealth, combat, and survival. In fact, young ninjas often carried out their first missions around that age, including real assassinations. Yes, that means grown men sometimes met their end at the hands of a literal child. Brutal, but true. This high-risk life meant ninjas rarely lived long. Many died in their teens or early 20s. If you made it to your 30s, you were considered incredibly lucky, and possibly a legend. But youth didn't guarantee safety. At your peak, mentally sharp and physically agile, you were often sent on the most dangerous missions, deep into enemy territory, disguised, sometimes for weeks or even months at a time. A single mistake, like stepping on a dry branch, could be fatal. Your targets? Often high-ranking military leaders, political enemies, or disloyal samurai. Your methods? Poisoning wells, setting buildings ablaze, or the classic ninja star to the face. Blow darts were also an option, especially if you wanted a little style. Maybe even aiming for the butt just for flair. Eventually, if you lived long enough, you might get married, usually through arrangement, especially if you worked for the government. You could only marry another ninja, which actually sounds kinda cool. A ninja wife? Not bad. Together, you'd start a family. And when your kids were old enough, you'd bring them along for their very first Bring Your Kid to Work Day, which might include, yes, their first assassination. But even if you survived into your 30s, life didn't necessarily get easier. There was no true retirement for a ninja. Your body, battered from years of deadly missions, would start to wear down. Your knees ached, your back throbbed, and stealth wasn't so easy anymore when you could barely walk without a cane. At this point, you shifted roles, no longer the assassin, but the teacher. You trained the next generation of silent warriors. But even this phase was lonely. Most ninjas never formed lasting relationships. Many died alone, forgotten, with nothing to show for their years of sacrifice. Betrayed, abandoned, or simply outlived their usefulness, such was the fate of many. All that remained was your uniform, your headband, and the silent legacy of the shadow you once were. Because that was the life of a ninja. And unfortunately for you, that's exactly what you were born to be.